I'm Rebecca, and today I'll be showing you how I created this flyer using Canva. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create a design, and I'm going to create a flyer from scratch. So if I search flyer, I'll be able to see this. I'm just going to click on this. Once I've created the file, the first thing that I'm going to do is add in the images that I'm going to base this graphic around. So those should be in uploads. So if I go into uploads, so there's a few images that I've loaded here, and since this is for a makeup class, I'm going to use this image, I'm going to use this image, and I'm going to use this image. So to begin with, I want this image to be the background of the graphic, so I'm just going to do right click on this graphic, and I'm going to set image as background, and that is our first image. At the moment, I'm just going to move this out the way, and then I can work on this. So next thing I'm going to do is overlay this with a color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the square, and just dragging it down here, and I'm going to change the color to be a pink color. So I'm going to click add colors. I'm going to click here and just see what color I can use for this. And I'm going to turn down the transparency of this color so you can see the background image pop through a little bit as well. Okay, so that is the first step. So the next thing I'm going to do is add in glitter. So I'm going to search in glitter here. I'm going to go on to graphics to see what glitter I can use, and I want pink glitter, so I'm going to click pink glitter as well. And I'm just going to have a look to see what glitter I can add into the background of this graphic. So I like the look of this, so I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to make it bigger so it takes up more of the screen. The next thing I'm going to do is, so this is for makeup class, so granted I'll have the photos in the first section, but I'm going to have like the text in the bottom section. So the next thing I'm going to do is look for a frame or something that I can use to add to the bottom of the graphic. So if I type frame wave, because I want it to be kind of like a wavy design that we add, I'm going to search that. I'm going to go into frames to see what I can potentially use there. I'm just going to scroll down to see what will work. So I've gone into wavy shape and I've found this. I'm going to use this as the back or the bottom section of this graphic. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag it so it fills up the bottom part of the screen. And then what I need to do is find something. So I want like a dark background or something to add into this section here. So I'm going to type in silk black background to see what I can find there. And scrolling down, I like the look of this. I'm going to drag this in. And then what I can do if I want to adjust the way that the silk is appearing here, I can double click on it and then I can drag it around. So I like this view a bit better, so I'm just going to drag this up, and then I'm going to click outside of this frame to select it. Great. So the next thing I'm going to do now is add in the other pictures or the images, and then edit those as well. So I'm going to go back into uploads, and I'm going to re-add these images. So this is the first image that I want to add. And to edit these images, what I'm going to do is go onto edit photo. I'm going to use the background remover tool. And then I'm going to scroll down and go onto effects. So I want there to be a shadow effect to make the image pop a bit more. I'm going to use a glow. So I'm going to click on that. And then if I scroll down, I can change the color of the glow section. So I want that to be like a darkish pink. So I'm just dragging this across. I can increase the size of the glow, the blur amount as well, and the angle. So I'm just doing that, making the image a bit bigger so it's more visible, and then I can play around with that. I'm also going to move this backwards because I want the image to be behind this background. So what I'm going to do is click on the image, I'm going to click Control, and I'm going to click my forward bracket to move it backwards. So then I'm going to go ahead and add in my second image, which is this image here. I'm going to click on that. I'd like to flip this image. Another thing that I'm going to try is if I click on this image, if I click copy style, and if I click on the second image, it should apply the same effects. Let's see. Yep, so I've removed the background again, and this way you can see now that it still has the background, or the glow effect that was added to the first image. So that's a quick hack if you don't want to go through the whole process again. Okay, so again, I'm going to adjust this image so it sits where I want it to, and I'm mainly to adjust the other one as well, just to make sure both of them fit in this frame. So the key to creating graphics or flyers is to play around with it. So granted, there's no perfect way to create a graphic. It's all about playing around, seeing what works, and making small tweaks. Okay, so I've added in the 2 images. What I want to do as well is to make the background pop a bit more again. So I'm going to click on to this glitter background that we added initially. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to copy and paste it again. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to move this backwards as well. So I want this to sit behind the 2 images and the background here. That way it pops a tiny bit more. Next thing I'm going to do is add in another glitter background because I want this background to pop even more. So again, I'm going back into elements. I'm going to type in glitter background. I'm just going to select this to add it in, and then I'm going to drag this to the top. And I'm going to move it back a bit by going on my control and the /. I'm moving it backwards, but I also want to make it a bit more transparent. So it's not as visible. I've realized I want to make the pink a bit lighter in the background. So what I'm going to do is, easy way, just duplicate the page, drag the elements that will allow me to get to the background out of the way. Then I'm going to click on the background color and make that a bit lighter. And once it's as light as I want it to be, that's all good. Then I can select the other elements and move them up again, and then that first part is good to go. Okay, so next I want to add in the rest of the text for this image. So I'm going to click on text to see what examples or what suggestions they have for me, to see if I can find something like a good font that I can add in from there. Granted, you can always just go ahead and add in your text box if you know what font you want to use. So I like the concept of this one, so I'm going to click on that and edit it. The first thing that I want to do to edit it is go onto text color. I want the color to kind of match the background a bit more. So let's see if this works. In terms of the title of this graphic, I'm going to make the title Makeup Class. I'm just typing that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the text a tiny bit darker to see if that works, to make it pop a tiny bit more. And that's all good. So the second thing I want to do is a makeup class, but I want it to be a beginner makeup class. I'm going to go now into text box. What you could also do is scroll all the way up, add a heading. So let's do that. And I'm going to type in beginner here. So for this one, I want it to be white one, so I'm going to click on color, click on white, but I also want it to have a handwriting font. So I'm going to go on to handwriting fonts, and I can scroll down to see what font I want to use and select that. So for this, it's literally just playing around with it, seeing what works, seeing what you think complements as well. I know that Canva does have a tool that can suggest fonts that you can use that complement each other. So I'll leave a link for you to check that out as well. I know that I want to use moon type, so I'm going to click on that. I'm going to make that a bit bigger, and I'm going to adjust that so it's center aligned and it fits with the rest of the graphic as well. Perfect. Okay, so there's a few more things that we need to do. Granted, I've duplicated the first and second page, so I'm just going to delete this one because we don't need this. So it's a makeup class, so I'm going to add in a section to talk about what the course includes. Perfect. So once I've added in the text, I'm going to drag it down and so it sits where I want it to. I'm going to move these 2 bits up. So granted, every graphic from a marketing perspective needs a call to action, so I'm going to go ahead and add in my call to action as well. To do that, I'm going to go on to add a little bit of text. I'm going to add in the call to action, and I'm going to move this down to the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to make some final adjustments to make sure that everything is looking the way that I want it to. Great. Another thing that I want to add in is, if I go onto elements, there's another graphic that I want to add in. Granted, if you're looking for elements outside of the picture, you can search. So say I'm adding in makeup products, you can type in makeup products here and use the suggestion that Canva gives you. Me, I already have an image of the graphic that I want to add in here, so I'm just going to go back into uploads. I'm going to scroll down, select the image that I want to use. Again, go into edit photo. I'm going to remove the background, and I'm going to make sure this is sitting where I want it to in the graphic. So I can see that it's added in the image, but it's also erased too much of the graphic. So if I go back onto edit photo, if I go into background remover and I go onto restore, I can use my mouse and re-add the bits that I want to be added into the graphic. So it's erased this highlighter that I want to be added into it. So I'm just going to go onto restore there. Once I'm happy with how it looks, I'm just going to click out of it. Now I can adjust this to go where I want it to go. If you're having an issue where when you're dragging the image across, it's replacing the background, what I would do is select the frame that is causing an issue. I would go onto the three dots, I'd click lock and lock that part. So that way when you drag this across, it doesn't have any impact on like the frame or any design that you've added or you're layering on top. I just want to add something that will make the top section pop a tiny bit more. So I'm searching in Glow to see what I can find. I'm going to go onto graphics again. I'm going to scroll down to see what I can use. So I like the look of this. I'm just going to scroll down to see if there's anything else that I can use that will pop a tiny bit more. I'm going to try this. Let me just make sure that I'm grabbing the right thing. Okay, so I'm moving this to the top. Yep. And then again, I'm going to move this to the backwards a little bit by clicking Control and the forward bracket. Perfect. I'm going to copy that and paste it again, and I'm going to do the same for the other side. And granted, if I want to make it a bit more transparent so it doesn't pop as much, then I can go ahead and do that as well. Okay, so this is it. This is the graphic. Let me know in the comment section if you like this design, if you want more tips. Let me know as well if you enjoyed this video, and I'll keep them coming as well. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.